Here, let me just look at these thumbnails. Like, these thumbnails are fucking wild. What is the crocodile messed with the wrong opponent? What is this? Just a bunch, there's a bunch of nude ones. What? The top 10 gang members reacting to serving life in prison. He's holding a gun up to the judge. Dude, this guy has mastered clickbait. This guy has mastered clickbait. Holy shit. You use the 15 secrets the Vatican doesn't want you to know. It's just a naked girl in front of the Pope. Is this your recommended? No, I went to True Crime on my Discord. This is one channel. This is a channel. This guy uploads he uploads so fucking much. Look at the strangest last meal request. It's a cup of milk, and then the milk's all over a girl's face. What the fuck is this? I want to find the one that 10 convicts who laughed at their victim in court. Is this AI? Did AI make these thumbnails? Savage judge moments in court. It's just a girl flashing everyone. Another girl flashing everyone. I think these are AI. This one's definitely AI. This one's definitely AI. This one's AI. Dude, how often does this channel upload? 1 hour ago, 3 hours ago, 19 hours ago, 22 hours ago. They upload 4 videos in a day. What is this? 4 videos in one day, and they're all 30 minutes long. AI is going to be so cancerous, and we're not prepared for it. Dude, what's that AI art video? Dude, this completely changed my mind on AI art. This was a while ago.
All right, guys.
But it's really fucked up. Because I kind of want to watch this. It's really fucked up how, like, AI, especially, like, AI when it comes to Corridor. Oh, yeah, didn't they make, like, an AI animated thing? So, the reason AI is so, bad, especially for artists, mainly for artists, we're going to watch this video. But it has to do with the fact that, like, when it comes to AI music, there's copyright protection. But when it comes to AI art, the AI takes copyrighted art from all over the internet. It scours the entire internet, steals everyone's art pieces, and then uses that as information to make its own art. So there's like a bunch of controversy around it.
It's time we talked about this. So if you've been on social media recently, you've probably seen a lot of talk about AI generated art. In order to understand the severity of the issue surrounding AI art, we have to understand how AI works. When an AI creates a piece of art, it doesn't generate that content out of thin air. Instead, there needs to be an input in order for there to be an output. In the big picture, machine learning...
AI could potentially be a great tool for artists, but there desperately needs to be protections for artists before... Yeah, like... using AI art as like inspiration in order to draw something or like a reference to draw in a concept or idea is really good because it helps you visualize the art. But the fact that it uses everyone's art is really fucked up. As someone who's used AI art for graphic novels, I've had a lot of moral issues and ethical implications in using it, but I believe you could use it responsibly. I always believe using human artists above all else, but this was basically a thought experiment. Using AI art as profitable, that's where it gets shady and bad. I feel like there's actual YouTube channels that give you tutorials on how to make passive income on AI art. There's people on Fiverr that make AI art. And it's not good. Like, you know, like using it in a sense of making money in any way isn't good because it's technically copyrighted content. Yeah, it's straight stealing.
Companies such as
and it's a lot worse than you think.
Profits from high quality media. And the creation of this media depends entirely on training their AI on a specific dataset. These images are made by assembling visual data that have statistical correlations to each other to produce a final result that looks acceptable. That's a very simplified explanation, but that's the gist of how AI systems work. All you gotta know is in order for that image to be generated, there has to be a dataset, and that is where the problem comes in. In these datasets, there exists billions of copyrighted images, of artworks, of photographs, of people, all of which was collected from the internet without the consent of the intellectual property owner. My personal artwork that I share on my Instagram page has been used to train AI models. And chances are, if you've shared your work online or even images of yourself, your house, your
AI
environment, you might have been included.
AI art was trained by stealing art from people almost always without consent. Well, that's where it gets annoying, is there's no copyright protection for it, but there's copyright protection for music
Included in these data sets. And if you guys want a really great in-depth look on this topic, I recommend Steven Zapata's video, which I'm going to link in the description below. The problem here is your artwork and my artwork, the moment we share them online, they are opted in to the system. If your work so much as exists online, it will be found and it will be used in a piece of AI art. And we as artists are not being protected. This is genuinely an industrial scale violation of each and every one of our rights. Stability AI has claimed, quote, because diffusion models are prone to memorization and overfitting, releasing a model trained on copyrighted data could potentially result in legal issues. Basically admitting to the fact that their models directly use copyrighted content. And many of these generated images tend to look identical to their original copyrighted counterparts. Images and text descriptions are taken from the internet through a practice called data mining, which allows these companies to accumulate an incomprehensible amount of data. And these corporations have intentionally targeted legal loopholes to allow them to do this.
Art theft was already bad enough before AI companies are constantly scraping art from Twitter. Yeah. I feel like art in general is probably the most, what's the word? Abused medium in the internet. Because, like, you know, everyone uses art. That's the problem. Everyone uses art for everything. YouTubers use art. Musicians use art. Like, everyone. Like, everyone who makes any creative anything uses art for something. So, a lot of people who are lazy or don't have the funds to hire someone to do it or don't know an artist, they end up just stealing art off the internet. Or even bigger companies literally just steal it and just say, too bad, we have way more money than you. So if we went to court, you would lose. So, you know, it's so stupid that so many artists like get their shit stolen and then their hands are just tied.
Stability AI itself funded the creation of the largest dataset being used, which is called Lion 5B. This dataset contains 5.8 billion points of image and text data, including copyrighted data and private data. This non-consensual practice of using copyrighted data in commercial products is illegal. But here is where it gets really, really messy. Now, this database Lion 5B, which is most widely used for AI generation, was created with the pretext of research. But the corporations behind the funding of this research quickly turned it into a commercialized product, which now include Dream Studio and Stable Diffusion, both owned by Stability AI. And now the app Lensa AI has been charging money for specific avatar packs. And as a result of which, these companies are now making massive amounts of profit. This loophole allows these companies to weave their way through legal regulations which are put in place to protect the copyrighted work of
can we talk about capitalism for a second, Smile?
Artists and creatives. And this process has been fittingly described as data laundering. And a lot of users even go as far as to use directly the names of certain artists to create their generated content. For example, concept artist Greg Rutkowski, you've probably heard of him. He has had his name used 250,000 times between Stability AI and Midjourney's AI platforms. Not only is the collection of copyrighted content of legal concern, but so is this. When AI generations are made to look like an artist's work, this has the potential for reputation damage, for forgery, for fraud, for identity theft. And what's most concerning is that when these models are trained on images of your artwork, they are unable to forget. So almost all of these models are now working with tainted data. Their generations now all involve copyrighted content which has been gathered without the knowledge or permission of the copyright owner. It is directly hurting artists who have put their passion and their soul into everything that they create, only for their work to be scraped from the internet without their permission and used in training AI models. To the large corporations and businesses behind AI, the perfect world would mean one where there doesn't need to be a middleman.
You know, it's funny because after doing a little bit of art and learning a little bit about it, man, artists are like shat on constantly. Like it's fucking ridiculous. Like not even this, but just in general, it's crazy how much artists are just shat on and like abused by like YouTubers or people who are paying them for their work, and then they just treated like shit, paid way too little for a shitload of effort. Because, dude, like, just draw, like something like this. It's not gonna, it's too bright. What? It took like hours. Okay, maybe not hours. It took like 30 minutes to an hour to draw that. It's just a basic ass thing. So, like, for like a full on piece or something like that, it takes a long fucking time and a lot of work.
There doesn't need to be an artist. It'll be a world where these large businesses can capitalize and monopolize an entire industry. The worst part of it all is you and we don't have the option to opt out, and the AI does not have the option to forget. Now, even with all this being said, a lot of people who are in support of AI will still try to dismiss this point. But if you're on the fence about this, all I ask is that you take a look at the music.
It's a very saturated field too, so it's hard to be seen and appreciated. I feel like it's saturated. You could say that about music, right? Music's insanely saturated, even more saturated than art. But the problem is music has way more copyright options. You're a drawer now? I'm attempting to do art because I have a goal to animate something at some point in my life. So I'm learning how to draw. But the thing is with musicians and songs, they have copyright protection. Like the smallest artist in the world can literally post a song, copyright it, and if someone takes it, puts it in their YouTube video, it gets content ID'd, and then boom, bam, they get the money. Like, it's simple. It's simple for musicians, right? And it's oversaturated as hell. Art, like, just basic, like, art is oversaturated as hell as well, but there's no simple way to copyright your shit. There's no simple way. There's not, like, a content ID for art. You know? It's weird. It's weird that, like, music gets all this protection, but art doesn't get any protection whatsoever.
Industry. There have been AI models made to create audio content. But when it comes to audio content and the data that's being used for that, these companies go out of their way to mention that.
Sorry, I keep pausing. I think most fields are saturated, but in most fields, the smallest names can afford rent, and the biggest can also afford rent. That's called capitalism, baby. The 1%ers. There's the 1%ers of the music industry, the 1%ers of the art industry, the 1%ers of the YouTube industry, the 1%ers of the Twitch industry, the 1%ers of everything. That's capitalism, baby.
Everything being used is copyright free, and that every aspect of that creation process is based on a fair and ethical system that doesn't infringe on the rights of music artists. So please tell me now, why is there such a double standard when it comes to visual artists? Visual art, just like music, has been around since the beginning of humanity. It's been such an integral part of our culture, from being found on ancient artifacts, on carvings, on stone. Art is one of the backbones of our humanity, and I absolutely love that music artists have their rights protected. But if that's the case, why should visual artists be literally trampled on an industry-wide basis?
True.
This is simply not artists crying and whining over something that's unreasonable. This is our creation that we hold so near and dear to our hearts. In some cases, it might be our livelihoods. It might be the way we put food on the table for our families. But in every single case, this is our passion. This is what makes us who we are. And all of us, me and you, and even if you're not an artist and you're watching this video, we have a...
I think with a lot of the tools Midjourney offers, it can be transformative with editing and fit into the criteria of being able to have copyright. You cannot take the entire image. You can use parts or pieces adding in different elements to create something new, but the fact that there was a dude who literally used AI art to create a game. Everything, he said, like, the majority of the shit in his game was made by AI art, and he made a video talking about how he wasn't happy with that. He said after doing it for a while, he said that it just didn't work. Like, he said, not that it didn't work, he said it just felt bad. Like, he felt bad. You know, it feels weird to just basically make all of your in-game art for free, right? It doesn't feel right.
A right to feel angry, to feel the way that we do right now about this unethical system. Every single time an artist speaks out about this issue, I see the same tired, overused counterpoints to try to quiet that artist down. And I am just so tired of it. People saying things such as, you put your work online, it's on the internet, it's free for us to use. That's simply a misunderstanding of the law. Just because something is online doesn't mean you can use it for whatever you want.
Dude, we literally, like, I get copyrighted by YouTubers. Like, shit ain't free. I get copyrighted by YouTubers, by music artists, by fucking TikTok people.
especially not for commercial purposes. I've also heard people say that AI takes inspiration from references just like artists do. When someone says this, chances are, number one, they don't understand the artistic creative process, or number two, they don't understand how AI works. AI takes data directly from that data set, and it's able to create a perfect replica. Humans simply cannot. And if you point to the examples of forgery in the art world, that practice is not something that we condone. That practice is highly frowned upon. A human has to literally look at the inspiration, process it in their minds, combine it with their life experiences, with the way they feel, with how they approach every single brushstroke. I've seen thousands of studies of my work that
it's gonna be one of those situations in the future where we're gonna have like a giant debate on whether or not AI is considered what's the word, sentience in the future. You know, like are we gonna give AI rights? We're gonna have like androids and shit, and then it's gonna be like a giant civil rights movement, but for AI. That's coming, guys. It's coming. I don't know if I'll be alive to see it, but it's coming.
People post online and tag me in, and in every single one of those pieces, even if it's a complete one-to-one study, I can see the unique human touch that made that piece their own. So no, an artist taking inspiration from someone else's work and studying a reference is not the same as AI image generation. There is also that really weak argument that this technology is here to stay, it's inevitable, so why don't you just accept it and stop fighting? And that just seems to be a fundamental misunderstanding of why artists are upset and what we're fighting for. I myself, and I know a lot of artists, are not here to erase AI technology completely. We don't want to do that, and we know we can't do that. The thing is, AI is here to stay. I accept that, and I welcome that. But the way these systems are organized and structured to take advantage of millions of artists is something that we are not okay with. It's not about pushing back against AI technology itself. It's about pushing back against these unethical practices of using our work, commercializing it, all of which without our consent. Artists such as myself are not given the option to opt out, not given any compensation, and not asked for consent or permission before our images are used. I don't even want an opt-out system. This system should be opt-in the first place. Why should my work that I've put tens of thousands of hours into be scraped and taken without my permission and opted into the system automatically? This system exploits artists, it's unethical, and I don't want to be a part of it. And just to summarize how bad it's all gotten, I'm going to give you guys some personal anecdotes.
There does need to be rules. People need to stop calling themselves artists with this, more like technicians, but we need some kind of middle ground. Yeah, it is annoying when people use AI art and then call themselves AI artists. That is a little bit annoying, you know? Because there is a giant difference between an artist and someone who's technologically savvy, you know? So one of them has a creative brain and the other has a logical brain. Not really a logical brain, but you know what I mean. A analytical brain or something. I'm trying to think of the right way to describe it. You know, one sees things in an abstract way, another one sees things in a concrete way. You know what I mean?
And some experiences that I've had with the AI community. A few weeks back, it was brought to my attention that somebody on Reddit had created a model based on 300 images of my work, all of which taken without my knowledge, without my consent, and it was shared on a Reddit post in the community of Stable Diffusion. Not only were these generations watermarked, but the poster also said that there was no need to ask for permission from the artist in order to make these models public, which, as I've mentioned before, in the words of Stability AI, could get you into legal issues. So naturally, I called it out. I put it on my story, I showed people what's going on, I voiced my discontent with the situation. But the fact that I called this out caused a lot of anger on both sides. Some people on Reddit decided that
I was trying to say it in a cooler way, all right? I was trying to say it in a more epic way.
It's a good idea to take more of my work, more of the pieces that I put tens of thousands of hours into and just poured my heart and soul into, and generate even more AI models based on that. And a lot of people have been releasing it to the public in that subreddit. I've gotten a lot of comments from people saying, how dare you react the way you did? How dare you call this out in your story? You caused all of this drama, so now this is all going to come back to you. And part of me is angry about the situation, but I think I'm more sad about it than anything else. It just seems there's no empathy, there's no understanding, there's not even an attempt to try to understand why.
Yep, welcome to the internet, baby. Empathy doesn't exist, man.
Artists could be so upset about something like this happening to them. And some people have gone as far as to directly email my business email about their competition that they ran to try to make a model that looks most like my work in a way that's very passive aggressive, very backhanded, and borderline harassment. And I can tell you right now, I'm not the only one who has experienced toxicity like this. Greg Rutkowski, who I've mentioned before, have received comments and messages about how he shouldn't feel the way he does.
I wonder if it's like a lot of these people are jealous that they can't draw, or at least don't try, and so they get angry that someone has talent and put a lot of work into something, so they're like, I'm gonna steal it.
How he's overreacting. Just attempts to invalidate artists, calling us whiny, calling us complainers. But with this video, I'm hoping to reach people, to educate people, to let people know about how big of an issue this really is. And honestly, if you're an artist, or even if you're not an artist and you just care about the rights of artists, I wholeheartedly stand with you. I stand beside you. Educate people on this. Post it on your story. Let your voice be heard. Even if people in the AI industry...
Dude, that's why I really like this video, is because he kind of just, does a conclusion at the end. But that's why I like this video so much. I had no fucking clue. Like, I had no idea about why AI art. Because I've seen a lot of stuff about people complaining about AI art. I just never knew why. I didn't understand it. But yeah, after like understanding why people are angry about it, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Because I had no idea that it just scraped copyrighted content off the internet and then used it for its own gain. And then people are selling this shit on the internet. There's even like videos talking about how to make passive income off of AI art. And then we have the Corridor Digital situation where they made an entire, like, didn't they make an entire episode with just AI? Which is another dangerous thing. I wouldn't say dangerous. It depends, but it could be bad because it's like anyone can steal animations now. If that's the case, if that's how it's going to be in the future, anyone, like if there's going to be AI system that just that scours the internet for all animations and then uses that as a reference, that could be bad. I don't know. AI, it needs some rules, needs some like. But the problem is, people who make laws aren't really technologically savvy, so it's not like they're going to change anything, man. Yeah, using AI art for reference art is good. But that's what I'm talking about, is using it for monetary gain is where it's bad. Just using it for your own stuff, who cares, right? But if you're using it to sell something or to produce something that you're going to sell, yeah, it's not good. Corridor sold shirts from the first AI anime too. As an artist, I'm disgusted they call themselves artists when they put no work into it. Well, when they're using like Mid-Journey and shit, yeah, they're not putting any work into it. But I know there's people who manually make AI art, as in they scrounge the internet and scrape their own shit. They still do it, but it takes more work. Because I don't know how Corridor Digital did it. So it's hard to really say what their situation is. I mean, it's more of a tool, so if the person using it doesn't work on what it produces, then it's still going to be meh. But that's the thing. Like, there's people who aren't using it as a tool. There's people who are using it as just free money, Firefly was trained on public domain art, but that system isn't foolproof and copyrighted art still slips through. Yeah. Oh, they used Firefly for the second video? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't want to just jump to conclusions and talk shit on Corridor Digital because I have no idea. Exactly. The get rich quick Andes, man. I'm so fucking tired. Oh, man. This is... I hate this shit so much. I see it on, like, YouTube, too. This doesn't even have to do with AI art. This is just get rich quick Andes. I fucking hate. The people who just have those channels where they just spam text to speech shit, or the grifters that just try to tell you this amazing way of like what is it called, airdropping shit. I don't know the term for it, but basically like flipping stuff. Yeah, the finance podcasters and shit, man. Like it, for example, I feel like this is a good parallel of artists, like artists hating or getting mad about AI art. It's like me getting mad at movie review channels that just spam 5 videos a day, and all they do is just plop in the Wikipedia description of the movie. They just do clips of the movie and then use text to speech, and they get millions of views. Like, I'm talking millions. Yeah, movie recap channels, exactly. Like, that shit pisses me off, because I spend all my hard fucking work and time to like make the best video possible, and I only get like, what, 90K on a good day? And then these fuckers can make 5 videos a day, and then because the algorithm loves when people just spam content, they just blow up millions of views every single video. Yeah, they have AI generated scripts. They go to chat a GPT and just say, hey, make me a script for blank video, and then boom, gives you a script, copy paste into that shit, throw on the movie, and just do every 10 seconds make a cut. Boom, you're done.